hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's had a fantastic Thursday. Everyone's doing great. And today it's 29th of October 2024. Transfer window closes tomorrow. And it's kind of picking up. In a weird sense, it is kind of picking up. Arsenal have been linked with certain players. Arsenal have sold certain players. Obviously, at the moment, Champions League draw is, I think, still happening. Arsenal have been already drawn, so we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some players Arsenal sold, some players Arsenal got in, and all that stuff. So it will be very interesting because the Champions League draw also is very interesting for Arsenal in terms of players we have to play, teams we have to play at home and specifically away. Because on certain level, the draw is very, very good. On certain level, it is actually very, very bad, if you ask me. It's actually very, very bad. Now, something's happening here. And it will be hella interesting to see how Arsenal navigate through these things, how Arsenal do these things, because it will be very nuts. It will be very hella nuts, in my opinion, if you ask me, because I'm not sure how this will happen, how this will go and how this will develop, because Arsenal at the moment have drawn quite interesting teams, four games away, 4 games at home, and I'm not sure when we're gonna play them, because I don't think it's gonna be finished yet, but we're gonna get straight into it. I think we're gonna straight up talk about Champions League with the draw and everything, then we're gonna get to other stuff. So once we kick things off, here it is. Basically, Arsenal in Champions League are playing Paris Saint-Germain, PSG at home, Inter away at San Siro, which already screams trouble. From Part B, we are playing Shakhtar at home, but Shakhtar is never an easy game, and Atalanta away. Then we play Dinamo Dresden at home, Dinamo Zagreb, sorry, at home, and Sporting again is here and is again gonna sit on our nerves, and we are playing them away. Last time we played them away, we saw what happened against Portuguese teams. We just don't do well. Then we play Monaco at home, and we have Girona away. So we have quite interesting teams to play against. So overall, if you look at these things, at home we have actually pretty darn, I would say, quite safe, I won't say easy, but quite decent teams, which basically should mean that we win. We should win all 4. We should win against PSG, to be honest, at home. We should win against Dinamo Zagreb at home. We should win against Monaco at home. And we should definitely win against Shakhtar Donetsk at home as well. The big issue is the away games, because all of the away games we have is hell. Not gonna lie, it is pure hell. Inter Milan at San Siro. Good luck with that, I'm not gonna lie. It will be Arteta versus Inzaghi. Inzaghi, a manager, to be honest, I would like to see at Arsenal as well. One of, I would say, top 3 managers at the moment I would like to see at Arsenal that are available. In general, to be honest, everyone's available, so I'm saying available. But we could get Atalanta away, another Italian side. We'll see how it goes. They cooked Bayer Leverkusen in the final, and they're looking actually pretty darn decent. Let's see how that develops for them, how Lookman looks, and we will link with Lookman in this transfer window as well. We have to go to Sporting, to Lisbon as away again. And we all remember what happened last time we went to Lisbon. It wasn't a good look. Obviously, time has gone past, teams have matured, especially also Arsenal in that instance. So who knows what's going to happen against Sporting, but playing Sporting away, but in general, Portuguese team away in Champions League is never easy. And of course, then we have to fly to Spain as well to play Girona, which again, I don't think will be as easy as people make it out to be. So I think we'll still have to wait, I think, for the schedule when we play these games, right? Which the game comes between the game against Spurs, for example, and Man City and stuff like that. But I would say the home games we should win. Away games will be a very, very rough order for us, definitely. Because Inter Milan away at San Siro, oh my goodness gracious. Against Sporting, we all know how we have done. It will not be easy. Atalanta away as well. Don't take it for granted. It will be hell again. And Girona away, yes, they have lost some key players, but they have surprised everyone. At the moment, they haven't had the best starts in La Liga, but again, moving to Girona, to Spain, to play that game, definitely will be quite rough for Arsenal once again. So, I would say it's a decent draw for Arsenal that we have to play. and again, I will say this again, and then we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna check if there are schedule or is their schedule already out. But home games, we should win them all. Away games is the place where we will struggle. Maybe against Girona, Atalanta, we should win. Like, that should be wins. To be honest, we should win as well as against Sporting, and against Inter we probably will struggle. But knowing what has happened in before, knowing our past, how we have fared against Portuguese sides, and to be honest, against Sporting in general, it will be rough, 100%. And against Inter, let's be real. Inter Milan is Inter Milan. Italian team is an Italian team. At San Siro especially, it will big chances be hell on earth for Arsenal. Now, I want to see if there is actually schedule out, because I haven't checked this. Pot 1, pot 2, opponents, draws, everything is out, home and away. There are no times yet, right? Yes, there are no times being set as of yet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what teams we play and when we play them. But at the moment, this looks, I would say, decent. Very favorable for Arsenal in a way. At the same time, feels like hell on earth. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Big up BX Gunner in the chat. Big up, big up, big up, my man. Big up. Thoughts on UCL draw? Thoughts on the UCL draw? I think it is quite interesting one, I'm not gonna lie. Finally, we get some big teams, but overall, we've gone another, like, I would say mediocre draw in a way. At the same time, every single game will be a rough one. It will be hell on earth for us. Definitely. Because Champions League is just different gravy, I'm not gonna lie. Exactly. For me, it's a good draw. I don't know you were here or not when I said this, but for example, the home games, okay. The home games, okay, cool. We should win all of the home games. I'm not gonna lie, we should win against PSG, we should win against Shakhtar, Dinamo Zagreb, and Monaco. The away games is where the struggle begins. Because Atalanta away definitely won't be cakewalk in the park. Because, let's be real, the way they played last year, how they dismantled with Lookman's hat-trick in the Europa League final by Leverkusen, it was a rough one for them. Inter Milan on its own, it doesn't need an explanation why it will be a hell on earth game for Arsenal, especially at San Siro. Against Sporting, man, based on how we have fared against Sporting in the past, and based on how we are doing against Portuguese teams in general, look at our track record in Sporting Lisbon, how we looked against Porto. All the away games we basically, quote-unquote, sucked. Let's just say that. Against Porto, we didn't even get shots on target, pretty much, last year. And Sporting nearly knocked us out from Europa. No, they knocked us out from Europa League. They took us to penalties, yeah. So, definitely, the Sporting game will be hell on earth for us. Definitely. Inter as well. Atalanta Girona are a bit on the lighter side, but again, don't take them for granted. Home games, we should win them all. The away games are the ones that, kid you not, worry me on quite a level. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, that's enough about Champions League. Let's get into transfers, and here is the big ones. Let's try and go in chronological order. According to some reports on John Cross, yeah, we're playing Balogun, exactly, Monaco at Emirates. He's returning to Emirates. Arsenal may yet do one more piece of business, and they're still on a red alert should Winger pop up in the last 48 hours. The odds are against it, but obviously some teams might be under pressure to sell. Now, yesterday these news dropped, and Ramsdale has left Arsenal. 18 million plus 5-6 million in add-ons. One of the add-ons is that Arsenal get extra million if Southampton stay in Premier League. Rest of them depends how they go. But Arsenal have sold our Ramsdale. In a way, I think Arsenal did a favor to Ramsdale because they wanted to get him some game time. Potentially. I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but he was wanted out for the longest time, basically pretty much since December, I would assume. So Ramsdale has left Arsenal. Wish we could have gone more, obviously, but knowing how Arsenal don't know how to sell these players, it is a rough one. Also, on top of that, pretty much most of the teams have goalkeepers, established goalkeepers, and they don't need proper ones. So that is also, there was no market for certain teams to get the goalkeeper. If there was a big team that needed Ramsdale, we easily could have squeezed out more money. But I think definitely the fact that we sold him for 18 plus 6 in add-ons, it is quite interesting to see how that's going to go. Interesting how he's going to play for Southampton as well. because Bazunu for them is injured till January, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that also depends what clauses are in there to kind of boost up everything. 18 million, 6 in add-ons plus 1 basically. Big sell-on clause also included in the deal. Don't gonna lie, haven't seen one report how big are the sell-on clauses. So if you know, please let me know in the chat or in the comments below. But I have at the moment no idea what kind of sell-on clauses Arsenal have in this instance on Aaron Ramsdale. And Arsenal lowered the hand when they brought in Ryan considering the situation, another sale done. And Arsenal now are moving in the market. Obviously there was an unnamed club who yesterday came out were interested in Kingsley Coman. And by the looks of things, it's not Arsenal, by the way. It's not Arsenal because... Where was it? There were talks about Kingsley Coman. Here it is. David Ornstein today reported that Kingsley Coman... My information is that this is not one that is developing as things stand. Let's see if that changes in the next 24 to 48 hours. So basically, by the looks of things, Arsenal are not per se in talks for Kingsley Coman. At the moment, by the looks of things, from what David Ornstein reported about an hour ago, doesn't look that way. And obviously, with Ramsdale's sale... Oh, big up Pepper in the chat, big up, we need to put down some money on the deadline day. Exactly. I don't want Coleman as well, I'm not gonna lie. But at the moment, it's looking a very, very rough choice for us between two players, and we're gonna get to that in a second. Now, according to reports, obviously, since Ramsdale is going out, we need to bring in a goalkeeper. Apparently, Arsenal have agreed already on personal terms with Juan Garcia. It was believed that it was £21 million. Arsenal also but a bit later on, the reports started to come out. Big up Nick in the chat, big up Nick. Later reports started to come out that Espanyol will not entertain any offers below his 30 million release clauses, which is about £27 million. So this again means we sell a goalkeeper who we signed for 27 million to sign a goalkeeper who we for another 27 million, and that would be another backup goalkeeper. How mad is that? We are in to sign a backup goalkeeper for 27 million pounds. And on top of all that, here is the case. Arsenal submitted 20 million euros, which is about 17 million pounds, for Juan Garcia to replace Ramsdale. But agents Juanma Lopez and Andy Barra bring to the proposal to Espanyol, worth 20 million add-ons included, yet Espanyol still ask 30 million clauses. The question is, it's been known that Arsenal will have to pay release clauses to get Juan Garcia. Is their main guy. He starts for them, well, he has played about 35, 36 games in general for them, right? And now he's starting from them in La Liga. As soon as he played the first game in La Liga, apparently his release clauses went up to 30 million euros. Everyone knew that, even I knew that, to be honest. Yet it looks like Arsenal don't know that. How comes they submit 20 million bid for a 30 million release clauses? Because Espanyol, to be honest, are in no rush to sell. They don't need to sell him. If you want him, pay the release clauses. So what are Arsenal actually doing here, if they want the guy? That is the big question. Let's get Ivan Toney and loan Coleman. I don't want Coleman. I genuinely don't want Coleman in Premier League. With his injuries and everything, not gonna lie, I don't want Coleman. Big up Henry in the chat. Ivan Toney, though, we're gonna get into in a second. We're gonna talk about Toney in a second. But the question is, if Arsenal signed him, right? 30 million. It's the 9th goalkeeper Arsenal will have signed under Mikel Arteta. That is kind of a rough one. It's a very weird one. They want to sell him for the actual release clauses he's had, because they don't need to sell. And Arsenal are trying to lowball again, and I don't think they have enough time to try and drag this out for a year again, pretty much, to try and get him on proper terms. Because now it's crunch time. It's a bit more than 24 hours left. And it's pretty much at the moment for Arsenal, either you pay the money or you are left hanging. You don't get him. So what will Arsenal actually do in this instance with the goalkeeper situation? Because at the moment our backup is Setford from under 21s. That is the big case. That is the big case at the moment. Juan Garcia, by the way, yesterday played for Espanyol against Atletico Madrid. Was pretty decent for the most of the game. Had a few mishaps, I think 2 of them. Espanyol, by the way, were hella lucky they didn't concede about 4 or 5 goals in the first 20 minutes, but somehow Atletico didn't manage to score. It's a 0-0 draw. It's another clean sheet. I think Juan Garcia and Espanyol in 3 games have kept two clean sheets, by the way, in La Liga, so that is kind of interesting as well. Now, anyways, we swiftly move on, and here is the big one. Here is the big one. Ivan Toney recently has come out. Pause. The news came out, according first of all from Ben Jacobs, that Thomas Frank has confirmed that Ivan Toney will not feature against Southampton on Saturday. Brentford are not ruling out a sale. Didn't take too long for this to start to come out. The Gunners have held talks with Toney's agent, Stella, today on Thursday, and the player is open to the prospect of joining the North Londoners. Sources have revealed to Team Talk that Arsenal are seriously considering a bid of 50 million for Ivan Toney. There actually is a world where Arsenal on transfer deadline day might actually get a striker. Whoa, hallelujah, innit? But it looks like it's picking up some pace as well because it's getting more and more traction and more speed. It's something that is kind of picking up the pace. It looks like he's open to the move, and that is a big thing. Will Arsenal actually go in for him? The thing is, though, Arsenal just sold Ramsdale for 18 million. They need to bring in a backup goalkeeper. Do you have the trust and belief in Arsenal that in the next, how many hours? 28 hours, right? Arsenal will sign a backup goalkeeper, by the looks of things, and a striker. Do you have that trust in Edu that in the next 28 hours he will get the 2 deals done? Because Arsenal don't usually operate like this. They get 1 deal done, then they get the next one done. They don't usually do 2 deals at once. Do they have enough cojones to actually go in for 2 players at the same time? That is the big question for me at the moment, sitting here and looking at this. Genuinely. Toney on deadline day, I'd take that. To be honest, I would too. I'm not gonna lie, I would too. I know many people still want Gyökeres, but let's be real, it's not happening. 80 million release clauses at this stage of transfer window. You either put the money on the table and get 80 million release clauses, or you don't get the player and you get someone else. Or you don't get anyone at all, to be honest, in that instance. And it looks like Arsenal are trying to actually do something. So basically, what's his name? Watts. What is Watts' name? Kappa Watts. What was his name? When he said that Arsenal didn't like his attitude, is actually false. He actually was genuinely Kappa Watts. Exactly, Kappa Watts. When he said that Arteta didn't like his personality. Because if Arteta didn't like his personality, there would be no chance in hell that these were the links. These were the links, yeah, Kappa Watts. There won't be a chance. I actually face faulted today when I saw Arteta on that swing to them, and we should... Dude, to be honest, I still don't believe that's Arteta. Because I was watching that, I thought, there is no chance in hell that that is our manager. No chance in hell. Genuinely, there's no chance in hell. Because you should be getting business done. You should be sitting with Edu and actually talking on these things. You actually should be doing something at the end of the day. Come on, man. You should be coaching for Brighton game. It's actually wild, to be honest. I don't believe it was Arteta on a level. But it looked like 95% it was Mikel Arteta, to be honest. So that's a weird one. Yeah, Arteta living his best life, basically. Super excited for signing his 9th goalkeeper in 5 years. Or basically training for aerial duels or something like that. It was mad. That swinging thing, that really was insane, I'm not gonna lie. Genuinely, that was insane. Anyhow, back to Ivan Toney. It looks like it actually could be some merit to that. Whether it's gonna happen or not obviously remains to be seen. But it doesn't stop there. Genuinely, it doesn't stop there. There are some more links. Here we go. According to Team News and Ticks, huzzah! Not sure I trust it, but it is what it is. Arsenal have been offered Raheem Sterling. He's willing to accept a pay cut and Arsenal have made him an offer. Arsenal currently do not want to pay a fee, the same as the other clubs interested. It is not clear if Chelsea will be willing to terminate his contract. Because if Chelsea terminate his contract, they have to pay about, 70-80 million in wages to him. 70 to 80 million. So that would be kind of wild. But it doesn't stop there as well. It just doesn't stop. It genuinely doesn't stop. Because if Team News and Ticks continues on this, on top of that, with saying basically that Arsenal have been offered Sterling, blah, 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 he would be willing to take significant pay cut to join the club. Arsenal have said a salary they would be willing to offer, which Sterling apparently has accepted. So what is actually happening here? What is actually happening here? What kind of salary? What has he accepted? Are we actually signing Sterling or what? Is it a loan with obligation to buy? Just a loan or what? It's really confusing me at the moment. Now, on top of that, and it also still doesn't stop there, Team News and Ticks adds to that, by the way. Even more, Raheem Sterling's people have said it would be his dream move to Arsenal. Arsenal aren't interested in paying a fee, and a contract termination is unlikely. So the thing is, Arsenal are not ready to pay for Sterling to get him, and Arsenal at the same time, Chelsea are not ready to terminate the contract because that would mean they have to pay about 70-80 million to him, apparently, something like that, because they owe him in wages and stuff like that. The club and the player have agreed a salary that's apparently Arsenal and Sterling, and he's willing to take a significant pay cut. So what was that the reason Arteta was swinging on the swings like, wee, I'm getting Sterling, wee, and everything? That's the big question. I'm kind of confused about this. Now, one thing, I don't like this part. His dream to move to Arsenal. Every single player we sign, every single time says, it was a dream for me to play for Arsenal. It's a dream to play for Arsenal. No, it wasn't. Let's be real. Not everyone. It's just PR. Let's get that out of the way. But overall, and I'm gonna be very shameless here. Very shameless here. But I'm gonna be playing massive devil's advocate here. I might be sounding a bit like Top Gunner, so bear with me here. I don't like what's gonna come out of my mouth in a way, but bear with me here. Basically, Raheem Sterling, right? 29, I think he is at the moment. Knows Premier League, has won a lot, can score goals, still has he has something in his tank. He's English, right? So the English homegrown and crap like that, basically. On top of that, Arteta knows him. Arteta has coached him, and he fits the agenda of Mikel Arteta fixing a player, reviving his career like he's doing with Kai Havertz. Now, even on top of that, and this is my biggest point in all of these 9 points I'm gonna name, which sounds very mad, that I have actually 9 points to make to justify Raheem Sterling's signing, and it sounds very shameless from me. He actually would fit at left wing for Arsenal, quote unquote, to a T. And bear with me on this one, because yes, he doesn't have the most pace, but yes, he is a bit wasteful in front of goal, but he can take on his man. He doesn't have to look at his feet when he's dribbling. He actually can take off his man. He's technically very good. He is a system player in a way, because we saw how he was playing the system in Man City a few years ago. And that when he was playing that system, he was giving out massive outputs. If you look at this slide, if we look at how he performed under Pep Guardiola when he was playing in a Pep system, right? We need to look at this because this is hella mad. because Arteta is playing quite similar like Man City, right? And Pep. On top of that, it's similar style, similar position, similar philosophy in that instance. And look, when he was playing for Man City at the most times, 18 goals, 11 assists. Okay, that was what, 6 years ago? 6 years ago, right? He was 23, but okay. 18 goals, 11 assists. 17 goals, 9 assists. 20 goals, 1 assist. Last year at Man City, 2 years ago only, 13 goals, 5 assists. He fitted that system perfectly. And the way Arsenal play, again, he would fit our system perfectly. That's the thing, he would slot in right into Arsenal's system. I'm sounding like a top gunner. I know that. I'm sounding very passionate about Sterling signing. I wouldn't say it's something I desperately would want at Arsenal, but I'm saying that it actually would work at Arsenal. 29 years old, he could coach, hopefully, teach Martinelli how to dribble without looking at the ball and not just throw the ball past defender and run it out of the play. He could teach some tricks. He could do some things to Sterling. Now, that would work to a T. Not to mention the fact that Arteta has tried to replace Martinelli on numerous occasions already. Let's keep that in mind as well. Now, the biggest thing is, where does that leave Trossard and Martinelli? Because even Martinelli on his worst day is playing over Trossard. What would happen with Trossard then? Would he shift to right wing? Would Martinelli shift to right wing? Or what? Because if we sign Sterling in a way, in Arsenal's left wing current situation, he's actually too good to be dropped. You know, to start from the bench. Because he's in a way better than Martinelli. If you exclude the pace and everything, Sterling as well would be double teamed, would get the Martinelli treatment and even more of that. But that would kind of open up the spaces for striker as well if we sign Toney, for example. Because most of the focus at the moment when we play is going to the right side. Not just from us, but from our opponent's defense as well. So Sterling actually can play right wing and left wing as well. Which means we would, in a way, kill two birds with one stone. We would get a proper... I can't say proper, man. This sounds very wrong. But we would get a decent left wing. We could get a backup for Saka in the same way. And he would work because he's a system player. And on top of that, if we get Toney, and imagine wing Saka and Sterling and Toney in the middle, it actually sounds that it could work. And it would work. As weird as it sounds. So I can see this argument being made for Sterling to play for Arsenal. For Arteta to sign him. Because even though Sterling sounds to a T a Mikel Arteta signing, a Mikel Arteta type of signing, there's actually some background, some merit to the signing. Because Havertz, to be honest, didn't sound like Arteta signing whatsoever. Let's be real. There was no actual merit to the signing, in a way. But for Sterling, there's actually... You could make somewhat of an argument why he would fit at Arsenal. Genuinely. Like, if you look at, like, from a neutral standpoint. I know it sounds mad, it sounds weird, I sound like a top gunner, a mutant and all that stuff, but I can see it. Let's just say that. I actually can see it. If we sign him, I'm not gonna be over the moon or anything, but I actually will back him. Because I have seen him in Premier League. Maybe Chelsea you could kind of exclude because they are a mess, in a way. But from City, what I have seen from him at City, when he plays in a proper system with proper team, with proper teammates and manager, he works. Just quote unquote, he actually works. And that is the big thing for me. And man, you have put something by quite a things. I prefer Coleman. I'm not gonna lie, I prefer Sterling. For countless reasons. One of the big... And then don't not just talk about injuries, but Sterling is Premier League proven. Arteta knows him, knows how to coach him. He would fit in a way. I thought the wages were a problem, but if he has agreed to take a cut... That's the thing. If he's agreed to take a pay cut, and let's just say Chelsea again, don't ask about billion pounds for him, let's just say 45 million, I would entertain the idea. I know 45 million sounds a lot in this instance. But let's just say loan, for example. Loan with obligation to buy, loan with option to buy. I would be for that in a way. Toney plus Sterling actually makes... Exactly, that actually sounds pretty decent after all the troubles. And I'm not saying this only because I'm desperate for us to sign a striker, desperate to sign a winger. But it actually, on a certain level, for the way we play, the system we play, actually makes sense. Actually makes sense. Oh, I'd prefer him to comment. Never mind, my bad, I misread that. My bad, I misread that. It actually makes some sense. Arteta has the Sterling blueprint. Exactly, and remember there were news when he was at City that Arteta during summer has worked one-on-one with him to teach him certain things. I think there is some merit for him to sign for Arsenal, definitely. He also has the Sané blueprint, which is why also... Exactly, that's the thing, he has coached them both. He knows how to get the best out of them. If you get what I mean. That's the thing. Didn't Sané Sterling credit Arteta? Exactly, that's the thing. They did, because there was an article, quite a few ones, where they said that Arteta worked one-on-one with them to teach them some aspects of playing at wing, how to take on opponents, how to kind of improve their play. Now, when I say this, yeah, how come we haven't seen this at Arsenal with Martinelli? Huh. A weird one. Okay, but we digress. Sterling would slot... that's the thing. As much there is arguments why you don't want to take him, right? There's actually quite a bit of like merit and the background to actually have him at Arsenal. That's the weird one. Sterling can play the both things. Exactly. It means Saka can get dressed in Premier League. Exactly. Cups, Prem, everything. And it wouldn't be the worst one also because... Yes, Sterling didn't look too great at Chelsea, but if he plays for a proper system where he knows his role and how to play it, he actually could do good. And dropping Saka all of a sudden, right? And if Saka gets injured, wouldn't seem like such an issue. In a way, if you get what I mean. It wouldn't be instantly a panic, because at the moment it's massive panic when Saka gets injured. Because before Villa game, I think it was, right? Or Wolves game, there were clips where Saka was sitting on the ground and he was treated by medical staff. Ankle or something like that. So there is also something that he actually might be carrying already a bit of a knock. There were some rumors about that. There were some videos about that as well. I remember also hearing it today on Troops' channel when I was watching the podcast with Dan Potts and Deluded Gunner as well. So... there is some merit to that. Seems we are on the same wave of the... Kinda, I guess. Exactly. Yeah, my bad on the Sterling comment thing. But yeah, if you think about it, yeah, you could say Sterling is washed and everything, but I don't think he is actually. He actually could do decently at Arsenal. The thing is, if we signed him, how much would he be? That's the big thing. Because it says here termination is unlikely. And Arsenal aren't interested in paying a fee, which means it could be a loan with obligation to buy, loan with option to buy, and after that, who knows? It sounds weird from me to say this, but it's hella sus, I know. But according to Alex Crook, a bit later on, as it stands, Raheem Sterling more likely to stay at Chelsea than leave on deadline day. Now, it goes both ways. Basically, it goes both ways. And it's kind of... It will be, I think, very nuts transfer window, deadline day. Because Arsenal have been linked with about 4 players to sign. And all of them will be circulating in transfer rumor mill. All day long. Genuinely all day long. The question is, though, which one we will sign. Because I think that besides Juan Garcia, it's a separate signing. And I think we will sign one more player. The question is who? Because at the moment, I kind of have a feeling that it won't be in a way that we sign Juan Garcia, for example, a goalkeeper backup, and that's it. We will do something else. But if we sign Juan Garcia, Toney, and Sterling, that would shock everyone. Especially in Arsenal's fan base. Because at the moment, based on what we have seen in transfer window, it has no indication that in the next... 26, 27 hours, Arsenal will actually make 3 deals. 3 deals. It has no indication. But Edu said, you wait till the end of transfer window, you will be excited. So maybe there is something behind that? Again, I'm getting my hopes up and I'm sounding like a top gunner. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. But I just want Arsenal to sign proper players to basically elevate the level of the team. Because I'm sick of tired of Arsenal doing the bare minimum in every transfer window and always being left 2-3 players short. And at the moment, based on links, it looks like we are actually could be signing those 2-3 players that were the bare minimum, that were we always short, and we actually could be signing them. That's why I have some small hope. Yes, it's maybe 1% hope, and we all know that 99% is always bigger than 1%, but there actually could be something to it. I think Sterling's a system player, and only certain coaches can get... Exactly! And that is similar like Phil Foden, basically. Because we all saw what he does for City. Player of the season, not player of the season, but team of the season and all that stuff. No, he was player of the season. Team of the season and stuff like that. Yet when he goes to England, he's basically anonymous. Why? Because for City, he plays under Pep. Pep has a certain system, and Pep knows how to get the best out of him. Not many managers could do that. And the fact that he has been coached by Pep and Arteta has seen it and has done it before leads me to believe that there actually could be some merit to the fact that he could get something out of him. The question is what, and will we get him? That is the big if. Biggest if is will we get him. That's the if we get him type of thing. But overall, yeah, it is kinda nuts what we have been linked with in the last genuinely 10 hours, because today we have been linked with so many players, it's actually not even funny. Yet at the same time, when we are linked with all these players, right? According to John Cross from the Mirror, it's unlikely that Arsenal will purchase a winger before the transfer window closes. However, the Gunners are on a red alert with the winger pop up in the last 48 hours with some big clubs under pressure to sell. And to be honest, there are quite a bit of teams pressure to be selling, because Chelsea at the moment are in massive trouble, genuinely in massive trouble, if I'm not mistaken, because this came out yesterday. And here is the thing: UEFA won't allow clubs to declare income from sale of assets to sister companies. Sounds like Chelsea to you, maybe? This means Chelsea will face a major challenge meeting UEFA's financial rules this season. And I think that could be the stance why they need to sell. I think they will try to squeeze as much money out of Sterling as they can if Arsenal go in for him. But there could be some loopholes in that instance that actually could help Arsenal to maybe sign him on lower money. Could be. Obviously, I digress, but there could be. Now, let's check this. Are there any more updates on Arsenal in that instance? Are there any more updates? Now, Champions League ready. Here we go. The exact order of matches, dates and kickoff times will be announced on Saturday. Match day 1, September 17th to September 19th. 17th to 19th. Which means... Wait, September 17th to September 19th. Oh, I'm such a dumbass. I'm looking at August's calendar. Arsenal play on 6th, and they have to play 14th. So basically, Arsenal will play after Man City game in Champions League. Or am I tripping here? No, Arsenal playing... No. We play Tottenham on 15th of all. So we play between. Yeah, we still play between. We play between. And I think this EFL Cup game will be rescheduled because it's September 17th. Yet we have to play on the 17th in Champions League. Am I correct? This game will be rescheduled, no? PSG home, Inter away, Shakhtar. Yeah. I know. That's the thing. Home games, we should win them all. Away games are the ones that worry me at the moment. I already talked about that in the beginning. Exactly. The route is not that hard. We need to be in top 4 in the group, in the one of the groups basically. But I think we should be winning all the home games. The biggest issue is the away games, because Inter at San Siro will be hell. We all know how we do against Portuguese teams away. History has taught us. Girona away could be interesting, and Atalanta away, obviously the way Lukman cooked by Leverkusen, it will be interesting. Yeah, it was a shame Bodo lost last night. Yeah. They were so close yet so far. But yeah, I think the CFL Cup game on September 17th will be rescheduled if Champions League is on the 17th. I think. Now the big question is who we are playing in this. On Saturday 31st, we will find out. Arsenal will play Tottenham after international break. Then they will play a Champions League game most likely. And then it will be Man City. The question is, who we gonna play between Spurs and Man City? That's the big question. Yeah, our fixture pileup is gonna be... Exactly. I strongly think, potentially, that the CFL Cup game might be rescheduled for a week later maybe. So it's a game against Bolton after Leicester and between Leicester and Southampton, since we play 2 home games here, and so it's not such a burden for Arsenal, we may play Bolton in between as well. Potentially. That's just my speculation. I don't know what's going to happen with that. We need some incoming. Exactly, we need massive incomings. It's going to be nuts because matches already are piling up. We're going to play Champions League. We have to play Spurs. Then we have Bolton or Champions League, and then we have that. Yeah, that's the thing. We should be playing the second. Should be doing the closest reserves and second string. The question is when the game. When the game is going to happen. Because it is the 17th. It's on the 17th of September. But Champions League is on the 17th. That's the big question for me. Champions League is 17th, 19th. But we should be playing Bolton on the 17th. To which date the game will be rescheduled. Because for me, I think it could be rescheduled for the next week between Leicester and Southampton. Maybe in that place. Maybe between Southampton and Leicester. Maybe. Or between City and Leicester. In some of those times. At some of those instances. Could be postponed by 1 week, basically. That looks more realistic to me than anything. Most likely, yeah, 24th or 25th. Most likely between City and Leicester, and I think then the Leicester game might be actually postponed because it's 6 days between City and Leicester game, and if we put something in between, it's 1 game. So we play, just say September 22nd, 24th. Oh no, they won't reschedule. There's too much time in between. There's no chance of rescheduling. Never mind. I'm a bit waffling here, so we have to wait till that comes out. Anything else in news? In Arsenal transfers. Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. Chatovo Kovo Ma Felipe. Anything. Chelsea, United. Chelsea are currently talking to Man United for Jadon Sancho in a separate deal for Victor Osimhen. The thing is though, if they sign Jadon Sancho, Sterling must leave. Then they will be forced to sell Sterling on a very heavy instance, and then Arsenal might actually swoop in, as weird and as mad as it sounds. So nothing new in this regard, right? Nothing new here. Now let's go to here. Let's see if there are any other news regarding Arsenal besides Champions League, per se. Besides the Champions League. Wish there was a dark mode on this page, not gonna lie. Wish there was a dark mode. My eyes are bleeding a bit. Arsenal willing to move for 200k per week. Ace on deadline day. He's open to joining. That is Raheem Sterling to Arsenal. Tricky deal. Unbelievable. Chelsea's star dream is to sign for Arsenal on deadline day. That is Sterling again. Arsenal plot shock move for England striker. That is Toney, which we talked about. Arsenal's Champions League opponents, John. We talked about that. Wenger approved. Arsenal now exploring last minute deal for astonishing forward. That is Toney. Arsenal made a serious offer to sign world-class player who is now never going to play again. That is Raheem Sterling, right? That is also Raheem Sterling. We are trying to sign 2 Englishmen, which is quite interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Wait, what? Chesney. Ramsdale joined Garcia in the... Oh, Arsenal, yeah, according to Polish outlet, Arsenal made a serious offer earlier in the transfer window to sign Chesney. He just turned us down. Now, Marotta, Inter ambition in Champions League is not arrogance. To be honest, that's true. Inter can easily go in Champions League and say we're gonna try and win it. Arsenal will never say that. They won't say we're gonna win it, we're gonna try and win it. We're gonna do our best, is what they're gonna say. Man City, Liverpool, Champions League. Arsenal target cut price Sterling deal, but move rests on one condition. What condition is that? That's the big thing. What is the condition? Because if there's actually a proper condition, get a copyright strike. Close this. Oh, you don't see it, thank God. I think you don't see it, right? No, you see it. Oh, come on, how can I close this thing? Oh my goodness, this is just... Here we go, close. Bugger off. Arsenal are weighing up moves for Raheem Sterling or Bayern Munich's Kingsley Coman. Sterling, who has been told he will not play under manager Enzo Maresca, would be keen on the move, but any deal would require Chelsea settling part of his contract and wages. And that isn't a big part of this, because they need to sell about, what, 60, 70 million apparently, according to reports. What is that? Genuinely, what is that? 70 million apparently, according to audio sounds fine. Genuinely, for me, audio sounds fine. I download it, cut it up sometimes for TikToks. Everything's fine. I don't know what you're on about. Mikel Arteta wants an explosive player to give Arsenal more options in attack. Top technical Williams obviously not available. How much is the money? Because I read that it was about 70 million. The club are unwilling to pay the fee for Sterling though, which is a way in any deal can complicate and require... He is understood to be on Sterling is on 325,000 a week at Stamford Bridge, and Arsenal would be unlikely to go above 150. I doubt that. If Arteta would want him, they would go to, I think, up to like 175, 200. Sterling would have to accept fitting into their wage structure. He already has accepted it according to reports and ITKs and stuff like that. That's the big thing. Apparently they have accepted. Wait, let me check. Sterling 70 million. Is there some? Yeah. Chelsea owe Raheem Sterling 70 million pounds in wages. In wages and bonuses for the remaining 3 years of his contract. So basically what that means is if Arsenal want to sign him, Chelsea would if they want to terminate his contract, if Chelsea wanted that, they would have to pay 70 million to him straight up. That's Chelsea's fault in general. But they're never gonna do that. Which means this deal, this is the biggest thing that I think is holding him, is generally holding him up. And I believe that if that happened, if they basically would pay that, they're sorted. Arsenal definitely would sign Sterling. Now, if Arsenal would want to buy Sterling, Chelsea would demand about 50 million, I think. About 50 million. They would take the 20 million loss, which wouldn't be the worst to them, but they would want some cash, definitely massive amounts of cash. And I think 50 million on Chelsea's standpoint would sound fair, but knowing that Chelsea actually sell kind of bloated prices, they could ask for the full 70 even to cut their losses to the evens. Chelsea has been critical in the last year. To be honest, Chelsea, you could argue, has ruined quite a bit of careers. And I think for the future as well. Putting so many players on such high wages and keeping them for 6 years. 6-year contracts, 7-year contracts, potentially 8-year contracts. That is actually insane. Genuinely insane. For me, 8-year contract for a player. Holy crap. For an 18, 19-year-old, give him 8-year contract and put him on massive wages. That's actually insane. I respect few players who have rejected Chelsea, by the way. they care about career more about the money than the money, but I'd rather not get into that at the moment. But yeah, 70 million, that's actually insane money. Insane money, if you ask me. Insane money. Anyways, Champions League, Marotta, Liverpool and Aston Villa handed tough Champions League draws. Arsenal breathed sigh of relief. To be honest, that's true. Arsenal looking to beat Man United to 17-year-old Jewel, labeled the next Martin Odegaard. Oh, have no chance in hell, no thank you. I'm aware. Insider shares that he's hearing about Rafinha after fresh links to Arsenal with hours to go. There are still Rafinha links? Seriously? I'd rather take Sterling than Rafinha, by the way. I'm not capping. I'd rather take Sterling than Rafinha. How there are still links? Charles Watts, Kappa Watts is saying that Team News and Tickets has claimed the Brazil international is keen to remain at Camp Nou. Thank God. He doesn't want to leave. Thank God. Genuinely thank the Lord. We pay Chelsea for Sterling to buy Toney. Basically, that actually could happen. Although they are still in for... To be honest, I think if we bought, I'll just say 50 million. To be honest. If we... 50 million, right? For Sterling, for example. I think Chelsea would buy Osimhen. They won't buy Toney, they would buy Osimhen. In that instance. That's a very strong word to say, genuinely. Hate is a very strong word. I don't hate Arsenal. I just want better standards. I don't hate any player. I don't hate even Arteta. I just think he should be doing better, or he should just, well, basically get changed for a different manager. That's a hell of a strong word, I'm not gonna lie. To be honest, Sterling wouldn't be the worst signing. If you look at it overall, it's just the fact that it's Sterling. It's coming from another Chelsea reject in a way. City Chelsea reject. Well, if you get what I mean. It's basically from that. Sterling actually would fit in Arsenal. Overall, if you think about it. The thing is though, would I want Sterling at Arsenal? Overall? No. Like, legitimately no. But, I can see and understand the argument if we get him and how he would fit in the team. Because he actually would fit in the system how we play. I'm not gonna lie, I think that if Sterling comes to Arsenal, he would cook on that left wing side. That's the thing for me. If it's ruining your mental health, you should take a step away from football, I'm not gonna lie. I understand this feeling, Arsenal. Yeah, that's true, but if you start hating, it's affecting your mental health. Genuinely, you should be taking a step away. Because football club is not bigger than you. Your health always comes first no matter what. If you're not healthy, you cannot go to work, you cannot do anything. And then not just physically, but mentally as well. And if it's affecting you that much, it's very unhealthy. And you should be taking a step away. Well, just like Pepper is saying. Advice is to take the step away. Exactly. Genuinely, yeah, exactly. But that happens with everyone. That's the thing. It happens with everyone. Happened with Havertz, I'm not gonna lie. With most signings Arsenal or any team is taking, it is that way. The biggest thing is, as long as... To be honest, in a way, I don't care in a sense that he does poorly for other teams. If he comes to Arsenal and hits the ground running, I'm cool with that. At the end of the day. If he starts to stink out the place, that is different. Because Havertz is the same thing. We signed Havertz for 65 million. Everyone laughed at Havertz at Chelsea. But Chelsea then was a mess and still is a mess. And for me, everyone laughed at Havertz. Including myself for the misses and certain instances, right? But if he comes in and proves me wrong, I'm gonna back him. At the end of the day, I'm gonna back him. Do I think he is our number one striker and should be our number one striker? Hell no. Should we play him midfield? Hell no. Should we have bought someone else? Hell yes. But at the end of the day, he's at Arsenal. That's it. That's it. I kind of can talk about the fact that I don't want him at Arsenal because in a way he maybe helps and destroys the system we are playing, but he works on a certain level. He does these things. Do I think we can do better? Yes, we can. If we don't do better in a window, and can I sit here and criticize the fact that we have still Havertz as our number one striker? Yes, I can. I just want better. That's it. It happened when we sold Martinez. I was on one of those, if I speak a big like Jose Mourinho. That's the case, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You have to make amends with it. Genuinely, you have to make amends with it. Do you have to agree with everything club does? No, you don't. Do you have to support everything the club does? No, you don't, to be honest. You can support Arsenal, you can love Arsenal, but signing Havertz, if you don't want him to be signed, you can back Arsenal, you can back the player in general, you can back the club, but you don't have to always agree with the signing. And that for me is the case. I support Arsenal, I love Arsenal. Do I agree with the signing? No, I don't. Do I every week I will be on this bench and screaming for Arsenal when Havertz gets the ball to score the ball and will be happy if he scores? Yes, I will. I will back the player, but still we need to improve at the end of the day. That's the thing. The fact that the biggest thing about Havertz is 65 million plus he's on about 265 grand a week. That is the biggest reason why nobody likes Havertz at the moment. Or they don't want him at the club. If he was 40 million, 150 to 200 grand a week, nobody would complain. Let's be real. It's just the fact that he came for such a big money. That's the case at the end of the day. I read on a Eve brief of Transfermarkt that Jesus wasn't 200 per week. I never realized he was being paid. Yeah, he's paying a lot, 260 grand. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Jesus is a massive money. Yet he spends most time injured. That's the thing. That's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. He is on massive amounts of money. He is on massive amounts of money. It's mad, to be honest, if you think about it. Toney's on 35, I think. I think Toney's on 35. With add-ons and everything. Ivan Toney. Oh no, hell no. He's on 20 grand a week, yeah. 20 grand a week. Ivan Toney's on 20 grand a week. While Eddie Nketiah was on 100 grand a week. And Nelson still is. That's actually wild, to be honest. That is one of the wildest things in the world. But to be honest, it's Brentford, right? If he was a different club, he would be on bigger wages. That's why we should be going to these smaller clubs. Drop the bag on the table. He's coming with us. We don't care. But we don't do that. That's the biggest issue. That's why really pisses me off with this club. We don't go to smaller clubs and don't take their stars. Should have gone for Olise, Eze, in this instance also Ivan Toney. We didn't do that before. There are lots of gems in smaller teams. Even in championship teams there are lots of gems. Let's be real. For me, prime example from the latest ones, right? Robertson from Hull City. I think Rio Ferdinand was as well at the time. And then John Terry. Dele Alli came from MK Dons, didn't he? Stuff like that. Obviously, he had issues, but he had lots of potential, to be honest. He should have been incredible player, but obviously health, mental issues, everything stopped him down. So there are lots of stars in the smaller teams. You just don't sign them. Smodek, who plays for Ipswich now, is a very good player. He played for Blackburn. Yeah, there are lots of players like that. To be honest, there are lots of stars big players we could kind from smaller teams. To be honest, many players actually in many teams, even big teams, right, are from the smaller teams. We just don't know it because they get signed under 20s, under 16s, under 17s from their academies. Because, for example, Rodgers, right, who played for Aston Villa, who destroyed us last weekend, he comes from West Brom Academy. Man City just signed him when he was, 17, 16, something like that. So he grew up in City Academy at the end of when he got signed to professional contract. Then he went to Middlesbrough and now he's at Villa, of course. That's the thing. Exactly. Rodgers was at Middlesbrough last season, but he started at West Brom Academy. Exactly. There are lots of these players. Remember Aarons, for example? He used to be honest, Gyökeres. Just, well, for the sake of an argument. He was at Coventry. Wasn't Gyökeres at Brentford at some point when he was super young still? Now he's at Coventry and stuff like that. Then he goes to Lisbon Sporting, scores hat-tricks almost every week, it feels like. Insane player. He was actually bowling out for Coventry as well. I think 1-2 more seasons at Coventry. He would go to a Premier League team 80, 90 million easily. Definitely. I think he would have helped Coventry last season, right? Get into Premier League for this season. I genuinely believe so. I think Coventry also would have knocked out Manchester United last year in semi-finals of the FA Cup as well, if they had someone like that. David Raya Blackburn account. Exactly, there are lots of those players. We just don't do it. All the teams do it. We don't do it. That's the thing. We don't do it to such a level. Most of the teams sign lots of youngsters that just graduates and everything. 18, 19 years old comes and everything. 22-year-olds, they just go to their smaller teams, they ball out there, and they just never come. Arsenal never signed those. It is the case. Genuinely, it is the case. We could look at billions of those. For example, I think Mark Gehi as well is one of those prime examples. Mark Gehi was Chelsea Academy player. Chelsea Academy player. Then moved to Palace for 24 million 2 years ago. Now he's worth about 80 million almost. A bit more. Well, no, what they want, 70 million. Musiala, for example, also was at Chelsea. Chelsea had lots of ballers as well, to be honest. Tomori, they had at the time Kevin De Bruyne and everyone. They also have academy, they just sell them and nobody knows where they come from, to be honest, most of the time. But from, wait. Jermaine Defoe. Here we go. Jermaine Defoe. Charlton, he was at West Ham when he was genuinely... how old he was at West Ham 24 years ago? When he was, what, 16, 17. He moved to West Ham. He was at West Ham, loans, then he goes to Tottenham. Then he to Portsmouth, obviously. And then to USA, then he comes back and everything. He's also one of those. He was a bad boy striker, if you ask me, to be honest. A great striker. Just didn't get a proper opportunity in a way. At the wrong place. Just didn't pan out as it should have been. There are lots of ballers every single team could sign at certain times. Most of the teams do it. Well, try to do it at least. Arsenal just never go in for them. We never see Arsenal go to like Norwich and sign one of their young guys of just 18, 19 who look very promising, then they loan them out, and if it doesn't work out, sell them. Don't develop them whatsoever. We just never do that. It's not us. Generally, it's not us, it feels that way. It's not for us on that instance, which is kind of upsetting, I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Generally, it is what it is. I remember when Defoe scored 5... Exactly, he still holds the record, if I'm not mistaken, for the most goals from one player in one game. If I'm not mistaken, in Premier League. Isn't that Jermaine Defoe? 25-pointer Premier League and FPL. It is that case, and that is the biggest thing. There are lots of those. Obviously, Rodgers is the latest one. Obviously, just burst on the scene, it feels that way, but he just didn't burst on the scene. It's just, he got a chance. He was balling at Middlesbrough, Middlesbrough got him. That's it. Just didn't work. It is what it is, but yeah. It doesn't look like there's anything new in Arsenal department. Doesn't look that way, at least. No. Nothing here. It doesn't look like on Arsenal's front there's anything new. Genuinely. But it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, I think. On that note, to be honest, let's look again at Champions League draw. See what Arsenal do. Arsenal's draw for Champions League. Can you see it properly? No, you can't. I have to back out. Here it is. Arsenal's draw for Champions League. Arsenal's draw for Champions League. It's looking actually pretty darn good, to be honest. Paris Saint-Germain at home. Should be winning. Shakhtar at home, must win. Dinamo Zagreb at home, must win. Monaco at home, Balogun comes to Emirates back, must win. Now, when we go away, it's a bit rougher. I'm not gonna lie, our away fixtures are much harder than home fixtures. I'm not gonna lie. Inter away at San Siro, 100% will be hell. Sporting in Lisbon, 100% will be hell. Again, Portuguese mid-low block. Against Gyökeres, by the way. Holy moly. I just clocked it, genuinely. I forgot this on top of my head. We're gonna play against Gyökeres. Just thought of it. Would be the prime time to sign him to make them weaker, so we can use him against them. Not to play, you know, dude, so he doesn't play against us, to be honest. I just clocked it, genuinely. Mad one. Atalanta, Lookman and Co. Although they just lost Koopminer, so they have kind of a bit midfield just got a bit weaker, not gonna lie. Girona, they don't look like they did last season, I'm not gonna lie. And on top of that, they have lost obviously some stars, about 4 or 5 of them. They have replaced them, but their striker Abel Ruiz, ex La Masia graduate, doesn't look too great. They're gonna play, I think, when they're gonna play tonight, I think, or they just don't score goals. They have quite poor start of the La Liga at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, yeah, we have quite demanding schedule. It runs until what, January, mid-January I think it was. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I can't believe I only now clocked that we're gonna play against Gyökeres if we don't sign him. We're gonna play against Gyökeres. Yeah, we are waiting for that Ornstein. We are waiting for 2-3 at least. Not gonna lie. It's interesting that we are not looking like we will be scoring 90 goals again this season, so we need to bank on getting 20 clean. Exactly, we have to bank on our defense bailing us out once again, basically. Because let's be real, David Raya won Golden Glove last year, and most of those clean sheets pretty much weren't due to because he was amazing at goal. It was because defense shut everything down, that he didn't have much to do. And many times, unfortunately, when his name was called upon last season, he kind of dropped the ball. Yeah, this season, on the other hand, his name has been called upon already 2-3 times in the first 2 games, and he has come out big. 2 world-class saves. That's the master one. These last 2 games, our defense has actually failed Ryan. Exactly, it's the other way around. And to be honest, if we can combine them both, it could be kind of interesting to see what's gonna happen. But yeah, I think on that note, I think we gonna end it here. So yeah, Champions League draw has been done. Oh, by the way, Carabao Cup draw, we play against Bolton. We'll see how that goal. Should be winning easily, even with our second team in a way. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new on here, of course, smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell. Stay great, stay amazing. Have a great Friday tomorrow. Take care. Let's hope this night and next day is great for us in the transfer window. Hopefully it does great to us. We sign up like 2 or 3 more players, hopefully at least. I don't know how much you value expected data, but it's so far not looking good from our perspective. The only 2. To be honest, at the moment it's looking quite bleak because we had to do quite a bit to kind of close the gap. We didn't have to do quite a bit. We had to do certain things to close the gap to Man City, and we haven't done that. Other teams that were behind us have closed the gap to us. And people are saying, but what Man City did this transfer window? They have signed 2 players. And those 2 players already take them pretty much a level higher. That one Gundogan signing has raised Man City's level insanely. He's that clutch guy they didn't have last season. They still got it over the line. And now they have him back in the team. And Savio just looks insane, not gonna lie. He's like Mahrez regen. Liverpool's underlying numbers, however, are scary, scintillating, and dangerous. Everyone should be afraid, basically. But we'll see what's gonna happen. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Big up everyone in the chat who chatted, who interacted, and everything. Stay safe. Have a great week. Have a great Friday. And have a great everything. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Stay safe. And see you all tomorrow. Hopefully we have some signings. That transfer deadline day will be crazy, I'm not gonna lie. I think it could be kind of crazy. Let's hope on it. Let's hope we get to actually sign a striker, a forward, and everything. Take care, stay safe, smash thumbs up, subscribe, and comment if you are watching this as a playback.